So charity we do, it has 3 modes.
So even charity is in 3 modes. So Sattvagun charity is giving charity to the right person at the right time with the right intention at the right place at appropriate time. So Rajasic or passionate charity is charity done with wrong intention. We're thinking, they'll put my picture on $1 million wall. So on Facebook I can post, she is serving at shelterless people, serving shelter. So with one hand we are serving prasadam or food, and then we are taking picture and posting on Facebook. The mood there, the intention is, some of it, if not all of it at least, it's mixed with intention for fame, prestige, power, all that stuff. Tamasic charity we discussed. We'll discuss a lot more about this particular topic of charity because many people are very passionate about serving. Manava Seve, Madhava Seva is what some people believe in. So we will have a separate session whether that is right or not. Okay, very nice. What else? Anything else we can recollect? Yes?
Chains, 3 types.
3 chains, very nice. But before we go there, I just wanted to show this picture also. In Sattva Gun is where there is balance. Anytime you see imbalance in your life, one day you feel very happy, next week you feel morose, that means we are not in Sattva Gun. Those who are in Sattva Gun, there is stability in their life, stability in their relationships. Unfortunately, living in the Bay Area or America at large, most of us unfortunately are not in this most of the time. Some of the times maybe, but most of the time we are not there. So the ABCD that we were discussing actually brings us from wherever we may be. We may be in Tamas right now or Rajas right now, but we will be slowly be propelled to mode of goodness. And then we discussed about these 3 modes, 3 chains. Who can, apart from these 2 people, who else can explain what this picture may represent?
The nature of Tamas Gunam, the nature of Tamas, we can't get it out. They are very strong.
Very, very, very beautiful part. We'll give Bhavani Mataji. They are very strong chains.
Yeah. And the silver, the Rajas Gunam, it's not that strong, but it looks very looking good. But there also we can't take it out easily.
Very beautiful part. One more. So what Mataji said is, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So silver chains, look at me. I have silver chains. I'm in jail, but I got silver chains. You have iron chains, I have silver chains. So people show off like that. See, I have more money, more cars.
Yeah.
I'm also miserable, but I have I can be miserable in my Lamborghini. You may be miserable in your Camry, but I am miserable in my Lamborghini. So this is also difficult to, easier than Tamas, easier to break from Rajas than Tamas. But okay, and Sattva?
Yeah. Sattva, the chains are very small. They're very good for our health. The golden chains.
Is it? I didn't know.
The for skin, it's good, right?
No, Matajis have an extra reason now. They are now looking at husbands.
Yeah.
You see, I didn't know this. See, you know why I am not healthy and not able to maintain my weight? Because I am not carrying enough gold. Okay.
Actually, the reason I don't remember that.
Because when we were talking about gold, you were thinking about
Gold price.
So golden chain, which one would you prefer?
Gold?
No chains.
No.
We prefer no chains.
Yeah.
But of course, so we were also discussing how it's actually important to get promoted to Sattva Gun, but use Sattvagun as a platform to take off. It's like a runway for an aeroplane to take off. So Sattvagun, some people I was mentioning how one of my friend who lives in Hyderabad, I hope he is not watching online. I won't tell his name. So he's very happy, joyful all the time. And when I asked him, hey, let's read Bhagavad Gita during COVID time, he said, what will I get? I said, you will find happiness. He said, I'm already happy. So people in Sattvagun, sometimes they're conditioned by happiness. They are delusioned by happiness actually. So they feel, I am happy right now. So why should I bother? But that happiness is not going to last. Probably 30, 40s. From 40s it's downhill. Then they'll realize. But it's too late because the mind has been already polluted by so many other things. So even golden chains we should try to break away from. And how do we transcend the three modes? 100 points. Okay, Satyaji is saying ABCD. We'll give him a round of applause. Very good. So from now on, any problem, this is the only answer. So answer has been already revealed to you in the second session. So because it's spiritual, ABCD, all of these are spiritual activities. And as you keep doing them, it will propel you to Sattvagun, and then it will help you even break out of Sattvagun to go to Shuddha Sattva, or transcendental goodness, to the spiritual world. Alright. Any questions, comments before we move to today's session? Are you not attending your class? I feel a little happy. He feels bored there than here. Yes.
So knowledge also comes in three mode. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas.
Yes. I think we had one slide we were talking about Tamogun. Knowledge is we come to the wrong conclusion. Let's say Shastra says meat eating is bad. People in Tamogun, they come up with explanation that says meat eating is good. It gives you protein, this, that. They come to the wrong conclusion of what Shastra is saying. So Rajogun people, they mentally speculate and try to come up with things. They only selectively take from Shastra. For example, we see so many videos circulating on YouTube. Anytime there is discussion about, for example, do your work, don't expect results. This type of philosophy is very much preached, very much respected. That's not the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. That's only Krishna mentions in the 3rd chapter. People don't care about the rest of the chapters. Only people pick up what is in line with their own. They have desires. For their desires, whatever is aligned with their desire, they pick. Nice, this is good. This nice quote, nice quote. That's all they follow. So that is Rajogun. And Sattvagun is where they actually have full understanding of what Shastra says. Yeah. Alright. This is the topic that pulled many people to Krishna consciousness. A very interesting topic about why bad things happen to good people. We wonder many times. We hear a 5-year-old child dying because of some cancer or some terminal disease, or a 23-year-old dying because of an accident. And we see so many things like this in the world and we wonder, what is this? Why is so much bad happening to good people? Can I request? Every time I see people, can you please move all the way? Thank you. So it's quite natural as human beings who have emotions to see the suffering in this world, to say that this person has lived dharmically, hasn't harmed anyone, hasn't killed anyone, but why should he? Recently I think 2 days ago, after you shared about Charlie Kirk, The next day I saw, it's a wonderful gentleman, Christian, Charlie, spiritual also, very spiritual, very vocal, great leader. So he got shot recently, I think 2 days ago. So he had wife. I don't know if I'm assuming he has children also. So we would wonder, such an amazing soul. How come bad happened to him? How could he get killed? So it's quite natural for us to wonder, why is bad happening to good people? And sometimes we put ourselves also in that bucket and say, I have done so much good. I have always tried my best. I have never harmed anyone. But why did I get this disease, that disease? Why is it happening to my children, my father? Especially during COVID. Oh wow. We could never imagine somebody could leave and there is nothing we could do. There is nothing we could do. So many people have actually become spiritual, philosophical after COVID. So wanting to understand what exactly is happening. So this session is very, very helpful in that sense. I don't expect we will cover all of this. We may cover some of it in our future session. But can someone please read these questions? Ansh, can you please read?
Transmigration of the soul.
So, have you ever wondered how the soul in its current body goes to the next body? Does wife and husband become wife and husband in their next life? Or what happens? How exactly does it work? Trees in their current body, when they go to the next life, what determines where they go? So we're going to talk about that first, okay?
What is karma?
I think everybody has an understanding, but we'll speak a little bit.
Why karma?
This is a question that not many people wonder about. Why karma exists? Why should it exist? Think about it. Why should karma exist? So that's a question we'll go now. This is probably the most fundamental aspect of this session. If you understand this, all these other parts are details. They can be explained. They may take time, but those are very easy to understand. Once you understand why karma exists, okay?
What are the 3 types of karma actions? Punya karma vs akarma.
So this is a new term we're going to learn, akarma. Those of you who attended before, they all learned some Bollywood music. So I'm going to Bollywood dance. We will teach you again. Okay, go on.
Why do bad things happen to good people?
Yes, once we lay the foundation, then you will understand why do bad things happen to good people.
Do good and bad karma cancel each other out? Instant karma vs delayed karma. Role of 3 modes in karma. Karma at different stages.
Karma at different stages. Last year, Sandhya Mataji was asking this question. We left it as a cliffhanger. Does prayaschitta, we did some bad and then I'm repenting for it, and I may even do some action as a repentance for it. Will that cancel my papa? Whatever mistake I did, I may have accidentally done or knowingly done, will it remove the papa? And then I said yes and no. So we will discuss what do we cut off and what actually still remains. And how, even though we are trying to get rid of karma, you will actually see how karma is complicated. Why karma is complicated, you will see if we get to hear today. Okay?
Why natural calamities?
Exist. Why tsunamis happen, why earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, COVID. Natural calamities, huh? Comes under, yes.
Is the law of karma applicable to animals? Why or why not? How to break free of karmic bondage?
Alright, so this is all we're going to discuss today. So is there any question that about karma that you think is not covered? We can probably discuss at the end if we have time. Is it okay? Alright, so we're all going to sing one Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly before we begin. let us put our hands together like this and let us say, Krishna, please kindly give me the intelligence to understand this, so I can actually transform my life, so I can remove the karmic bondage that is making me go in a circle again and again and again. So let me be very attentive and fully focus and absorb and apply all the principles that I am learning today. Let us sing one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, transmigration of the soul. Can you please read, Shamita?
As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change.
So in the second chapter we see Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhirastatra namuhyati. It gives an analogy, just as I had a 5-year-old body, I had a 20-year-old body, but as science mentions, every 7 years, every single cell in the body is changed. 90% of our body actually is changed within 3 years, it seems. Within 3 years, 90% of the cells in my body have changed. So my 5-year-old body has nothing, no commonality. My mentality also has been upgraded. So what is that thing that remains constant? That's the soul, of course. So Bhagavad Gita mentions, just as the soul is same, the body has evolved. Similarly, at the time of death, the soul leaves and enters a new body. But how does it enter? What determines which body it enters? Please read.
State of consciousness, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail.
In the 8th chapter we see Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajatyante Kalevaram Tam Tam Evaiti Kaunteya Sadata Bhava Bhavitaha. Whatever is the consciousness at the time of death. And what is the consciousness at the time of death? Whatever occupied our mind throughout our life. Throughout our life I am thinking about making money. What will I remember at the time of death? Money. Money, sweeter than honey. A rich man's joke is always funny. So that's what I will remember. And if I am absorbed, attached to money, the Supreme Lord says, all right, if you desire, all right, I'll make arrangements for you to be born in money. Many people are thinking, oh, this is a good idea. We will talk about one more aspect to it, not just desiring. Now everybody would be thinking, let me desire, next life, CEO of a company, Elon Musk. So here is one story from Srimad Bhagavatam. Bharat Maharaj, after whom, there are two Bharat, after whom India got its name, Bharata. So this is one such king, Bharat. He left his kingdom and he went to forest in Satya Yuga. The prescribed method was go to forest and do silent meditation. So he was doing his silent meditation and his things. But then he got attached to a deer, a baby, small baby deer. And he was so attached to the baby deer, he left his kingdom. Bhagavatam describes very graphically. Bhagavatam says, the way he left his kingdom, obedient wife, children, like somebody leaves their stool behind. Meaning, he's not at all attached. He just left. Can you imagine such opulence he left behind? But then he came and he got attached to a small deer. And he was continuously caring for it and thinking about the deer. And even though he was doing meditation, he was looking like this. Where is my deer? Did it go somewhere? Is it safe? There are a lot of tigers in this forest. And he is constantly thinking, even though he is meditating not on the Supreme, but he is actually meditating on the deer. So the deer has become his deer. Very dear. So, thinking like this, searching for the deer. One day the deer grew and it left. And searching for the deer, he fell into a valley, and separation from the deer, crying out for deer, oh deer, where are you? And he leaves his body. And when he leaves his body in his next life, what does he become? He becomes a deer. So that's what is being mentioned here. So whatever is our consciousness that we cultivate throughout this lifetime is what we are most likely going to think at the time of death. That's what we will become in our next life. So what determines where we go after we leave this body is the consciousness at the time of death and the consciousness we cultivate throughout our life. I say cultivate because it's a choice that we have. We can cultivate to think about positive things. We can cultivate to think about spiritual things. Or we can cultivate to think with the rest of the world, tamogunic activities, watch Netflix, Facebook, and then slowly our consciousness will also degrade. So that's a choice we have. Okay, we will give it to Vivek.
Mechanics of transmigration. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another. As the air carries aromas, thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Bhagavad Gita 15.8. Purport. At the time of the death, the consciousness he has created will carry him onto the next type of body. If he has made consciousness like that of a cat or dog, he is sure to change to a cat's or dog's body. And if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. And if he is in Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna.
So there were three things that were mentioned. Can anyone point out? What are the three destinations that were mentioned here? Animal body. If our consciousness is like animals, what are animals constantly thinking about? Where will I? Sleeping, eating, mating, defending. If this is all we think about, and mostly sleeping, then Krishna says, Arey, why struggle so much? If you want to sleep peacefully 18 hours, no problem. I'll give you a bare body. Please take. No back pains, no neck pains. If you sleep for 18 hours a day also, no problem. You can sleep on a branch and the hands will be tight. You don't have to fear. Sleeping on the sofa, for example, you may slip off. But bears have that special ability. Fish can sleep with eyes open. We cannot do any of that. So there are bodies that are better suited for tamasic activities. If that's all we want, the Lord says, all right, don't worry. You can have the same enjoyment in a much more easier way. No need to work 9 to 5, mental pressures. None of the animals have psychological department, psychology, mental health issues like that. They don't even have diabetes and all these other issues also. And second thing is, if we develop godly qualities, we become demigods, it seems. It is mentioned 33 crore demigods. Maybe one day we will talk about what's the difference between demigod and supreme god. But if we have godly qualities, we will be promoted to become a demigod. So we'll have more powers. You'll have the post for longer. No 4-year elections like that. And then finally, third is, if we become completely spiritual, no material desires, no selfish desire to exploit somebody else. That's what material desire means. Selfish desire to exploit nature or somebody else. For my pleasure, I don't want anybody to suffer. In fact, in pure spiritual consciousness, living entity is not even looking for pleasure. It's looking for seva. It's looking for service. And when we are elevated to that consciousness all the time, then we are transported to the spiritual world. Anandji, can you please read this?
Mechanics of transmigration. the living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects from Bhagavad Gita.
15.9. Sense objects means anything that the senses enjoy. Me and my father, we used to have this debate. He would say there is, in South India, there is a sweet called sunnunda. It's a round thing. In English translation, anybody knows? It's some laddu basically. So he used to say that laddu made with jaggery tastes very good. I used to say this laddu, same ingredients, but instead of jaggery you put sugar, powdered sugar. That tastes good. And we would argue. He would say, no, jaggery only tastes good. I would say, no. When I read this verse, immediately I remembered that particular incident. I thought, wow. So depending on our desire, depending on our subtle desires are subtle. Depending on our desires, our body is manufactured to the order. So the tongue we have, it appreciates sugar. The tongue my father got appreciates jaggery. Based on our previous life's association, based on our own modes, some people, meat is tasty. Some people may say. That's because they have been associating with tamogun so much, they have been given a tongue that appreciates those type of things. So, not just the tongue, but every other aspect of the body as well is like that. The mind included. They will appreciate that particular aspect that they associate most with. And there's the last one about how many people ask, when the soul leaves the body, how will it go, where will it go? Does the mind, intelligence go? So here is the answer. So, gross body, which is the physical body, made out of earth, water, fire, air and ether, the Panchabhutas. But the subtle body is made out of mind, intelligence and false ego. We were discussing this in our previous session. The gross body at the time of death, what happens? Does the body come with us? We package, put it in a bag and no, we won't. We can't take it. Gross body withers away. It is here only. But what happens to the subtle body? Subtle body actually comes with the soul to the next life. The mind, intelligence, false ego comes to the next life also. So whatever, all the material desires we have, they are all stored in the hard drive of the mind, intelligence, false ego. And they carry us to different bodies. Okay, I had enough of this enjoyment within this body. Let me get a different body. Like that, it keeps moving. By the way, you can also sit here if you feel comfortable. But... Oh, okay. And it mentions here, the subtle body withers away only when we are fully self-realized. Only when we fully understand who am I and who God is and my relationship, and we are completely free from material desires, that's when the mind, intelligence and false ego, they leave us, and the pure soul is able to go back to the spiritual world. But as long as we have material desires, the subtle body doesn't wither away. But every time we do austerities, then the subtle body actually slowly leaves. So anytime we do austerities, any tapas, yajna, fastings, waking up in the morning, exercising, any so the subtle body actually becomes weakened. And gross body, we only have it for one lifetime. But subtle body, we could have for many lifetimes. Until we realize self-realization and God realization. Until then we'll have it. Okay, I'll pause here. Any questions about transmigration of the soul? Okay. We'll give you a mic.
We talked about transmigrating to either animal in your next life or demigod or Krishna Lokam. But how about human, if you want to be a human again?
Good question. So in the middle one, if we have not too many godly qualities, not too bad animalistic qualities, then we remain human. Any other questions? Please pass on the mic. 7 seconds or your money back.
And also once the person is no more, it's been, I read that 84 lakhs times before the human life has been given again.
Yes. So we have, material nature has arranged a buffet of 84 lakh species to choose from. And depending on our desires, we will take birth in any of them. And human form is where we can actually choose to continue this 84 lakhs or get out. In many other forms, there is not much choice. It's usually just desire and fulfilling that desire. There is only, there is no thought to see whether this is good or not. Why am I suffering? Is this perpetuating my cycle of birth, old age, disease and death? That type of thought process can't happen in other animal species. So yes, 8.4 million or 84 lakh species. That's right. Thank you.
So I understand that the supreme God is the the last level, let's say, and humans are somewhere in between, and then there's demigods. So what is the difference between in the quality of life or something like that? Why do we want to become demigod, or so is their life better? Is their planet better? I don't know. Like what is the difference?
I hope after this answer, none of you will aspire to go there. But it is mentioned we have 14 planetary systems, of which the above 7 are considered to be heavenly planets. It's interesting. Bhagavatam describes how there are subterranean planets also, subterranean living spaces. They are called Pilaswarga. There are so many places in this universe where material sense gratification is available unlimitedly. For example, in the Swargaloka, the sweat that body generates, actually it gives out fragrant smell. Very nice. For us, we see so in Swargaloka, there are no grey hair. There are no wrinkles. There is no old age, no back pain, no diseases. Birth also, apparently, the material nature arranged in such a way that within demigods and even demons, we'll probably talk much more detail if you have. When they become pregnant, when they conceive actually, demigods, because their goal is to enjoy their senses to the fullest, they give birth immediately. They don't go through 9 months of pregnancy, carrying them like this, going through labor pain. It's all a painful process. And the child doesn't have to... You don't understand whether it wants milk or diaper change or something else. You have no idea. So that's why it is mentioned, as soon as demigods give birth, they become 21-year-old. Fully grown adult. So, perfect place for enjoyment. There is unlimited enjoyment. Somebody touches your hand like this and you feel, wow, this is so beautiful. Anybody touches hands, you don't feel anything. After 50 years, somebody touches our hand, pain. So, in Swargaloka, it's not like the opposite of. It's like that in many places in the universe actually, except hellish planets. Most of the places are, and that's why it is mentioned for spiritual growth. It depends when you say whether it is good or bad. Materialistic people, this is Hawaii for them. Oh, wow, I want to go there. That's why all along our childhood we heard, do good, you will go to Punya. Do bad, you will go to hell. And we thought the goal of my life is to do good and go to Swarga. But Swargaloka, life in Swargaloka is also temporary. It may be very long from a human calculation. But it's all, time is a very relative thing. For example, Brahmaloka, 4 seconds is 400,000 years on planet Earth. So in Swargaloka, which is above us, so time is much longer. You will enjoy for much longer, but the quality of happiness and perception of time is going to be similar to us. And as soon as our credits are over, let's say you go to Las Vegas, you give them your credit card and you say, get me drinks. And they are serving you drinks after drinks, and you're ordering starters, this, that. And so they'll serve you as long as the credit card is accepted. And once the credit card declined, they'll throw you out. Same thing happens with us from Swargaloka also. So, and when you go, it is mentioned, they give you a garland, fresh flowers. And they are treated with royalty. And as your karma slowly reduces, the flower petals, flowers, they wither away, and eventually only have thread. Then they throw you away. And then you come to this Bhuloka, where you can again do punya, and then again go back to Swarga. But then again the cycle continues. As long as, and for the soul, which is looking for not just some temporary happiness and some temporary relationships, this is hell. This cycle of birth and death is not at all what the soul wants. So even though the senses are enjoying, it's like Elon Musk having so much money and so much enjoyment, but he's still addicted to drugs and so many other things. Internally he is not happy. So we will also be like that. So Swargaloka is also not recommended. Swargaloka is what Vedas recommend. Because for people to come, you do good, you will have a better life. Please do good, please do good. People who are already doing a lot of bad, they're like, okay, alright. Okay, I will do some austerity now, I'll give out some money. Okay, instead of enjoying, I'll give out all. Very painful, but alright, take this. So they're getting trained. And Vedas train people in lower modes to come up slowly. But those of us who are already sitting in the Bhagavad Gita class, we can understand that our consciousness has already been elevated. So we should not settle for this middle temporary ground. So is that helpful? Thank you. Okay, 1, 2. I'll try to give short answers.
Maybe we can defer the answer if you want. Are there some stories in Bhagavatam to read about demigods? You said they will have quick somethings, right? So.
What type of enjoyment they have, or
no, what kind of qualities they would have? Are there some stories like Bhagavatam gives stories of many things for us to understand?
Yes.
So does it talk about demigods also?
Yes, there are. We will hear, of course, descriptions of Indra, descriptions of heavenly planets, how they are, what type of enjoyment is available there. And it also talks about, of course, ultimately this is temporary, and how we should aspire for bhakti. Because Bhagavatam, main goal of Bhagavatam, it gives a lot of details of other things, but Bhagavatam finally comes to this conclusion. I recently, Prashantji was sharing one video, and it titled Karma Like You Have Never Heard Before. And I watched, out of respect for Prashantji, I watched the entire video. And I was thinking, actually I was appreciating the presentation of Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, much more after I watched that video. Because Prabhupada gave a very good explanation, and his books and his followers gave a very good explanation of karma. But they give the conclusion of karma in the beginning itself. They tell, yes, it's good to understand how karma works, but why karma works and what is the point of understanding karma is to get out of the cycle of karma and go back to the spiritual world. That point they emphasize again and again and again. And that's what Bhagavatam also does. Any topic you take, it'll give some explanation, but ultimately it tells, these are all useless, please take bhakti, go back to the spiritual world. So Srimad Bhagavatam is different from Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is the book that Krishna spoke, the shloka, 700 shlokas that Krishna spoke. Srimad Bhagavatam, which is considered to be the pinnacle, the fountain head of all spiritual knowledge. And that is in 18 books, 18,000 verses, 12 cantos or 12 skandhas. So it's a good book to have a lifetime reading. Okay, final question and then we'll move on.
Namaste.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Does any book says where Krishna is? Like,
Yes, Krishna, the Bhagavatam that we discussed about, it talks about where Krishna is now and forever, all the time, in the past, present, future also.
where?
You asked whether is there any book or not, that I'll tell you. So, we have this limited understanding. See, if I'm sitting here, I'm not at my home. I mean, I am at my home, but you're sitting here, you're not at your home, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So I cannot be simultaneously in two separate places because that's our limitation. So we try to apply this limitation to the Supreme God also. We think that God also, if God is in front of me, how can He be in front of somebody in Nigeria? If God is in my heart, how can He be in somebody else's heart? So God is simultaneously there in everybody's heart as Paramatma, as Kshiradakshai Vishnu. He is there in every atom as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. These are all different expansions of Vishnu. And all these Vishnus are actually managing and maintaining the universe. But there is Krishna, who is the source of all these expansions. One German philosopher, so he went to India, he visited many temples. And then everywhere he went, every god has some weapon. Durga Devi has Trishul, Ganesh ji has some other weapon, Kartikeya has some other weapon. So everybody has some weapon. And Krishna is the only one who is standing with flute, enjoying with all his friends and cowherd boys. You're pointing. Krishna also has Sudarshan Chakra. So this is a very deep topic. Krishna in Vrindavan doesn't have Sudarshan Chakra. Krishna in Dwaraka or Mathura has Sudarshan Chakra. And it's a job that he reluctantly does. But he loves Vrindavan atmosphere. He loves to just enjoy and play with his friends. So the highest spiritual dham, within the spiritual world, there are different levels. Vaikunta, Ayodhya, and so many, all the spiritual personalities we know, they have a place in the spiritual world. And they have been performing eternal pastimes there. Krishna is in the highest abode of all, which is Goloka Vrindavan. And he is eternally there. And simultaneously, when needed, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. So he comes whenever it is needed. He expands without losing his powers. It's not like Krishna has 100% power there, and when he split, that Krishna has 50% power, this Krishna has 50% power. It's not like that. Because it's difficult for us to understand how can that Krishna also have 100% power, this Krishna also have 100% power.
So I had this thought before, like if Vishnu and Krishna, like who is more powerful?
So we'll talk about that some other time. Did Krishna come from Vishnu or Vishnu come from Krishna? That's a question that many of us have. We'll talk about it some other time. Alright.
One last question. No, that's okay. I don't need a minute. So, as part of this transmigration of the soul, our forefathers, they died, and we do a lot of ceremonies for them. Is there of any use for all the ceremonies that we do?
Yes, Vedic literature speak about 16 ceremonies, some of which are directed towards our forefathers. Because we are what we are because of our forefathers. They established, let's say, in my village we have a Rama's temple. That worship has been going on for almost 80-85 years. So if my grandparents didn't take the pain to establish the Rama temple, I remember very fondly my childhood memories are from Ramanavami celebrations. Very beautiful memories. So because of those, I'm attracted to spirituality eventually. So we have a lot of debt to pay to our grandparents. And sometimes they may not have sufficient positive karma to go from their current body to their next body. So whenever we do these Pinda Pradhans and things like that, it is mentioned. But of course, Bhagavatam also mentions, when you do bhakti, you're watering the root of the tree, then all other Vedic ceremonies becomes optional for somebody who is worshipping the Supreme Lord. Is that okay?
Yeah. Actually, just one more question, if that's okay.
I love question and answers. I mean, I think if we are okay, if we are not in a rush to cover the topics, Shyamukumari tells me, every time you say you must cover this, I say, see, because old people I look and every time they're looking, hey, when will you go to Bhagavad Gita? Alright, please go ahead.
Alright, so my question is...
we'll give you a mic. You don't need the mic, but maybe everybody else and live also probably need.
So yeah, my question is about this transmigration. So, based on what you described, it looks like we do have a choice when we are about to go from this world, right? But I want to take like 2 examples from my own, my grandfather, who died while he was in sleep. So when people are sleeping, do they have a choice of thinking about the right thoughts? That's the first thing.
We'll take one question at a time. Yes. You notice, I mean, even we have this experience. We are sleeping, our mind is constantly dreaming, and most of the time, the mind is active. The REM or the deep sleep is very little. And second thing, many people say this, he left his body peacefully in his dream while he's sleeping, they say. Peaceful physically. But can you imagine somebody spending 70, 80 years of their life, 70, 80 years of their life to earn what they have, to build what they build, to build the relationships that they have invested in, and all of that taken away in a moment? Who likes that? Nobody likes it. So physical body may be temporarily, visibly it may be lying, but internally there is so much pain. No death is peaceful. As long as we are attached to material relationship, material things, no death is peaceful. So even though they are living, sometimes they have this mercy killing or pulling the plug, ventilator and things like that. No death is peaceful. Of course, unnecessarily we don't want to complicate their leaving of the body. So Bhagavatam recommends eventually if they are at the verge of death, you create a favorable environment for them to leave. And some stories exist of how even though they lived a very impious life, adharmic life, sometimes they get a discount by extraordinary mercy. And they may actually go to a destination higher than what they deserve. But I hope that answers your question. First question.
Second question is actually kind of same, like if a person, let's say, is doing all bad things throughout his life, and in the end he's smart enough to, choose the right atmosphere or right mindset, he can get elevated to a demigod position. While a person who might be doing good karma throughout his life, let's say for some reason he was worried about something, right? Let's say his kid needs money and he can't give him that much money, and he's thinking in that thought process, right? And then he leaves the world. But doesn't mean that he should go to a lower level, right? I mean, ultimately his karma also should also matter. So where does karma fit into this transmigration thing?
Very nice. That might be a good segue to our next topic. Please read this. And then we will answer your question at some point. I think it should be answered. Okay, can you please read this?
When we see the world around us full of disparities, rich, poor, handsome, ugly, intelligent, dull, fair, black, strong, weak, literate, illiterate, that often provokes questions in our heart. How could fate be so unfair? Why does one boy enjoy while another boy suffers? But the answers to such questions are crucial to all of us because they give us a direct clue to how we can become free from all future suffering.
Right? When we see this type of inequality in this world, we naturally wonder how come, and sometimes in the same family, maybe within sometimes twins also, some is born with more beauty, the other is not so much. Siblings or maybe friends even. Somebody is tall, thin, how much ever he eats, he doesn't put on weight. You eat little bit and then so you wonder how exactly this works. And so this question is, of course, what karma is. What is karma? So there is a very beautiful story I thought which will set the mood for understanding what karma is. Many years ago, there lived a Chinese farmer. And he had a son, older son in his 20s. And one day they were doing their farming. One wild horse came to his home and voluntarily came, and it started helping out in their chores of farming. So the neighbor came and he said, "Wow, you got a new horse." And the farmer said, "It's a wild horse, it came on its own." The neighbor said, "Wow, how lucky are you? Wonderful, amazing." Next day, the wild horse left the home. And the neighbor came by and he saw no horse. He said, "Where is the horse?" The farmer said the horse had left. The neighbor said, "Oh, terrible. Now you must do all the farming work by yourself. Oh, this is very bad." The farmer smiled and he said, "It could be alright. I mean, whatever the Supreme does is ultimately for my benefit. Temporarily, yes, it may be more inconvenient for me, but ultimately it is for my good. Don't worry." Saying like this, he continued. After few days, the wild horse came back with 5 more horses. And the neighbor came. He saw, "Wow! You have now 6 horses. Amazing, wonderful." The farmer said, "Whatever the Lord does is for our benefit. Ultimately. Temporarily may be beneficial, maybe may not be beneficial. No problem." Next day, as the son was trying to train these wild horses, he fell down from the horse, and the horse's hind legs have hit the son's leg, and the leg got broken. And his leg was fractured. And then the neighbor came. Said, "Terrible! What is this? Very bad." The farmer, again smiling, he said, "Whatever the Lord does, ultimately it's beneficial. It's okay, don't worry." The next day, the king declared a war on its neighboring kingdom. And they were short on soldiers. So they came to draft every young man who is able to fight. And they came to the village. They took forcefully, no voluntary, like America used to do back then, I suppose. So everyone who is able to fight from 15 to 50 was forcefully drafted into army. So, and they were searching every house, and they came to this person's house, the farmer's house. And they saw the son. "Hey, I heard you have a 20-year-old son." And they saw broken leg, sitting down. And the army people, they said, yes, he is unfit to fight in the war. And they left. And then the neighbor understood that the words of farmer now, okay, whatever happens is for our benefit ultimately. Temporarily, it may look like it's painful. So this consciousness, this attitude is helpful to begin with. I'm sure we have a lot of questions, but those will get clarified. I told the story, so you will have more questions as you go through. Hare Krishna. So what is karma? This is a short video from Friends. How I say it?
Yes. The chain of screaming starts at the top. Arthur's boss's boss screams at Arthur's boss. Arthur's boss screams at Arthur. Arthur screams at you. You go home and scream at Lily. Lily screams at one of the kids in her kindergarten class. Then that kid screams at her dad, Arthur's boss's boss. And the whole thing starts all over again, thus screaming.
That is the chain or circle of screaming. That's a very helpful, funny video about how karma works. Okay, as I said, this is the most important question. So if you're sleeping, please wake up now. So this is the one thing, if you understand, you will become very, very peaceful of what's happening in your life. You will be able to see things from a different perspective. Why karma exists? When, let's say, you are building a city, what are the possible things you need for building a city? For a city to function properly, what are some of the things you need? Please shout out.
Utilities.
Only new people, by the way. Utilities. So, gas, electricity and things like that. Resources. Possibly maybe food items, groceries and things like that.
People to live.
We need people to live, okay.
Law and order.
Law and order, very nice. What else?
Roads, hospitals.
Roads, we need infrastructure, roads, hospitals. What else? We need good schools, yes. What else?
Libraries.
Libraries to read books. She's spending a lot of time there.
Parks.
Parks for recreation. So you're stressed out, go enjoy sometime. Natural parks and Disney parks also. Yes. We'll ask you at the end, by the way. What else? Transportation, roads, cars. Yes, what else? Temples, some spiritual people are also here. Temple, churches, what else?
Workplaces.
Okay, already, yeah. You need to earn livelihood, so you need and feel productive, so you need workplaces also, yes. You need bosses also. People are thinking, I wish I have more bosses. Okay, what else you need for planning a city? Can I request those of you sitting in the back to move here in the front? There is more air, by the way, more light also. You will be closer to light. You will be enlightened. Ankur, you can also come forward if that's okay. Yes. Anything else we need for city planning? Bhavani Mataji knows where we are going. That's why she's thinking. So we need all this. We need entertainment, we need places to live, we need food, we get sick, we need hospitals, sports, all this stuff. But why law and order? Why do we need police when we are building new people only? Yeah? Why do we need police when we are planning a city? What's that?
Control the crime.
Controlling the crime. So there is crime, and to control the crime and to discipline people. Discipline who?
Crazy people.
Crazy people. Is it possible that crazy people exist? People who don't follow rules and regulations? Possible? Sure? I tell this joke. Once 3 engineers and 3 doctors, they got on a train to go to a destination. 3 engineers bought 3 tickets. The 3 lawyers, 3 lawyers, doctors are not, according to this story. 3 lawyers bought only 1 ticket. So the engineers were thinking, what is this? Arey, you are 3 people, how will you manage? The lawyer said, you see, action. So they got on the train. The ticket collector started checking everybody's ticket. And the 3 lawyers went to the restroom. And the 3 engineers gave their ticket and they were wondering how will they manage. The ticket collector checked the restroom, it's busy. He knocked on the door. 1 hand came out, gave the ticket. He punched the ticket, gave the ticket back. The engineers thought, wow, this is a nice idea. So while coming back, all 3 engineers, they went and they bought only 1 ticket. But the 3 lawyers, they did not buy any ticket. So the engineers were wondering, how will you manage? The lawyer said, see us in action. So the engineers were more curious this time. The ticket collector came. So the 3 engineers went into the restroom. And one of the lawyer came, knocked on the door. 1 hand came out. He took the ticket. And all the remaining doctors, all of them went to the restroom. Ticket collector came, knocked on lawyers and engineers' doors. Lawyer gave, ticket came back, and the ticket collector fined the 3 engineers. Moral of the story is, there will always be people trying to break the law. So why do we need police? Why do we need prison houses? Why do we need prisons? Wouldn't it be nice if everybody follows laws perfectly? No need of prisons, right? That would be nice. But there will always be somebody who likes to break the law, who doesn't like to follow the rules. Yes or no? Right? I mean, even the small population itself, we see so many people. Prisons are over flooding. So now they are trying to reduce the term so that they can release people, so they can make more space in the prison. That's the current situation. But interestingly, the prison has in the American Constitution a different name. Anybody knows what it is called? Satyaji is mentioning correctional facilities. Have you heard this before? Out of compassion, he is reading. Why are they? They are called correctional facilities. So the prison wasn't meant just for punishment, which is what we usually think. We think, okay, prison means punishment. But more important than punishment, or the whole point of punishment, is actually purification. We want them to be purified of their mischievous intent. We want people to become transformed. That is the whole point of punishment also. Even when we punish children, for example, it's not that we want them to suffer. We want them to change. So, of course, maybe in our parenting seminar we'll talk about how we don't do a good job at that. So, the purpose of the prison house is punishment with the hope that it will give them purification. So now, coming to our material world. What is our material world compared to? It is compared to a prison. Why is this prison created? What are the qualities of this prison? You go to any prison, for example. I hope none of you have ever visited. I wish you will never visit also. Are prisons very comfortable? Do they have AC, nice soft cushiony beds? 64 6-course meals every day. It's probably out.
Yeah, looks like.
Okay. So are prisons very comfortable? But watching from the movies and general understanding, the whole point of prison, if it's very comfortable, people will go stay in the prison only. Free food, no need to work hard. If it were like that, get laid off from here, then the people like, okay, what is your next plan? Next plan is do some robbery, go to prison, comfortably stay in prison for next 50 years. Free hotel. If that were the case. Prison is purposefully made not very comfortable. And the jailer in the prison, anytime you make small mistake, don't wake up in the morning, don't do our job properly. The jailer of this material world, do you know who is the jailer of this material world?
Karma.
It is mentioned Durga. Dur means difficult. Ga or Gati means to go out. It's very difficult to go out from this prison. Very difficult to go within also. Durga is Durga Devi with a cane. Anytime we are not getting purified, then she gives punishment. Not doing our work to progress. All the miseries we notice in our life are actually given by Durga. It's a service Durga Devi is kindly doing. It's a thankless job that she is doing it as a service to Krishna. Brahma Samhita mentions about how she is servant of Krishna and she is doing it in that to purify the conditioned soul. So, this material world, we were discussing in the beginning, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. The description, manufacturer's description is Dukkhalayam. Vidyalayam means a place where Vidya is abundantly found. Vaidyalayam. Medicine is very nicely found. So Alayam means a place where something is abundantly found. Dukkhalayam means Dukkha or miseries are abundantly found. So this entire material world is created with one purpose only, not so that we will be comfortable. Life is cool, life is cool, life is cool. We cannot feel that here. You feel little comfortable, buy a house, then old age sets in. Then old pains. Children grow up, they challenge you, they don't respect you. Miserable. And then that's it.